G'day everyone, Brian here. Jesus talks a lot. As you read through the Gospels in the Bible, you'll see the words of Jesus. Some Bibles even print them in red, so you can easily see the words of Jesus. And there are kind of three groups of people that Jesus talks to. There is his disciples, and it's interesting to see the way that Jesus talks to them, and it's very much like a teacher and a disciple, a teacher and a student, because Jesus will sometimes chastise them when he will say to them, "Do you still have no faith? Why are you afraid? Are you still so dull?" But it's also the group who he explains things that others don't get to hear. And so that relationship and that teaching is very important. Another group that Jesus talks to is the crowds. And it's to those crowds that Jesus uses parables and stories to help explain the kingdom of God and the truths of the kingdom of God that have been kept from them and that he wants them to know. It's interesting that he chooses to use parables, those kind of stories that will rest in your mind, and then one day it might click as to what Jesus is saying. The third group of people that Jesus talks to, that we've already found in Mark chapter 7, is when Jesus talks to the Pharisees, the teachers of the law, the religious leaders of their day, the traditionalists, as they are seen being in chapter 7. To them, Jesus is short, brusque, abrupt, chastising, scolding, at times sarcastic. His harshest language is for the religious leaders of the day. In Mark chapter 7 and from verse 14, we see that Jesus has called the crowd to him. And so here it's the crowd that he's talking to. And he says to them this, it's words of a parable. "Listen, everyone, and understand this. Nothing outside a man can make him unclean by going into him. Rather, it is what comes out of a man that makes him unclean." Now, what do you think that means? Well, the context is helpful for us here as we realize that Jesus has been talking to the religious leaders and the Pharisees who have been holding tradition before the commands of God. And with that in mind, Jesus speaks about what makes a man unclean is what comes out of him, not what goes into him. I'll say more tomorrow about that and what Jesus says to his disciples. But what do you think it might mean? Perhaps you want to leave a comment below. Have a great day as you ponder that, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.